Hi. Hello, welcome back to another motion picture musing. I'm Horror Master 101.
I'm Zurieri.
Now I am now I am become Beth, destroyer of worlds.
And
And happy birthday to Beth.
yes, happy birthday, Beth. Yay. You're 52 now, right?
I'm
Well,
33 and I'm certainly feeling it.
I thought the reason we were doing uh, Godzilla because both Beth turned 71.
Wait, Beth, are you actually 33?
I've seen yes.
Oh.
I've seen the food you sent me, Steg. You are absolutely the oldest person here, despite me being the oldest. Fucking banana chews and pig bars.
I'm sorry you don't have good taste.
Pound at Rural King.
I'm sorry you don't have good tastes.
Hard candies that are basically lozenges at this point.
That's the point of hard candies.
It's for the
That's the entire point of a hard
candies that are
candy.
so old. Hard candies that are so old that the wrapping has melted to the candy.
That's just rice, like rice paper wrapping. You're supposed to eat it.
That happens with cough drops, I've noticed a lot.
Urgh.
Hey, have you guys ever tried putting a cough drop in your butthole? I haven't.
Godzilla 1954.
This is the.
Yeah, so
Sorry, you say your thing first.
yeah, so we started watching. We watched the original Godzilla movie.
Mhm.
My plan for this is, I want to watch and review the Heisei Godzilla movies. That is the ones that were in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then compare them to the Heisei Gamera movies, which were of the around the same time. And it was pertinent to watch this first because this movie is canon to the Heisei Godzilla movies. It's the only show Godzilla movie that is canon to them, I'm pretty sure. Steg insisted because it would be weird to start off with the 80s and stuff.
Well, yeah. Also, I do like comparing the original Godzilla as a frame of reference to all the future Godzillas because tonally it is very different.
Yeah. Also, I've never.
The only ones
we
that
might-
the only one I've seen recently that I feel like is similar tonally is probably Shin.
Yeah, Shannon -1. We might go back and watch like all the other Showa movies and maybe like the Millennium movies. There are some other things I want to throw in here at the end.
This is also my.
Yeah, because when Steg suggested, oh, we should just watch all the Godzilla movies or all the things that are in continuity, and I'm like, do you have any idea how much shit is in the Showa era?
Jesus Christ.
You have to watch Frankenstein versus Baragon and Varan.
What is that actually a fucking movie?
And Space Amoeba, yes. All of those are real.
And this is just my thing. I'm gonna say this
so
is.
before.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
This is my. Well, technically, me and Chris have gone to see. Which Godzilla movie did we see?
We saw the Godzilla movie with Bryan Cranston, and then we saw Godzilla. The most recent one where it's Godzilla and his mouth.
-1.
There's Ghidorah.
Oh, you mean
The Western
you mean
one. Yeah,
Godzilla King of the Monsters?
Yeah, Godzilla.
I'm sorry, I was blanking on the name of it.
No, guys. The movies that go, no, guys, we weren't committing unethical nuclear testing in the South Pacific. No, we were dropping them. We were dropping those nukes for a good reason because there was a monster there we were trying to kill. Gutless shit fucks.
So, the Godzilla 1954 is my first official. Not official because I guess Godzilla King of Monsters is still technically an official Godzilla movie. Does that make sense?
First one that's in the right spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into talking any about the plot, I do want to talk about the lead up to what became this movie.
Mm-hmm.
over here.
World War
Original
II.
Godzilla.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Not entirely, because yeah, it is. Bulk of the movie is based on that. The opening scene of the movie is based on a more specific incident.
Mm-hmm.
It is called the. So the. I guess we do have to get into the plot if I'm going to discuss this part. The movie starts with a Japanese shipping boat, whose name I don't currently have here. Uh, yeah, the Eikomaru. It was out at sea when there's suddenly this blinding flash and it basically bursts into flames and they're barely able to get out in SOS before the ship goes down.
Mm-hmm.
This part is based on a similar incident that happened, but it was with a ship called I want to say it was the Lucky Dragon number 5. Yeah, Lucky Dragon number 5. This is an actual thing that happened. Basically, this fishing boat got too close to nuclear testing
Mm-hmm.
in the Bikini Atoll, and everybody came back with radiation sickness. And
Yeah.
most of them survived. However, one, as it's stated here, died due to complications of the radiation sickness, and they are considered to be the first person to die from the hydrogen bomb.
Jesus.
Get that
It reminds me of I was reading researching a paper called Nuclear Guinea Pigs and how U.S. and Great British government and several other governments secretly tested nuclear isotopes on the general public. And there was one where they were talking about tests in the Pacific, and there was they would have just regular naval officials that didn't know what they were actually testing, test stuff, and and then they were testing what waves would it cause on these ships, and they're like, okay, now we need to tow all these ships and get them fixed up and send them back out. And then one of the scientists on there was like, what the hell are you planning on doing? Is you need to decontaminate literally everything. We need to sink these. If you are bringing them back, we need to decontaminate everything. Not only do we need to decontaminate the ships, everyone who is present needs to decontaminate.
So the movie is based on this ship incident and obviously the bombings of Japan. There's some other important things here. We have to address the importance of King Kong in this, in the creation of this movie, because you see the original name of Godzilla, Gojira, it comes from the Japanese words for gorilla and gorilla and whale, Kuchira, so something like that. I sworn I had. Because the original Godzilla idea was to have something more like King Kong. In the original concept art, which I'm going to have here, the original idea was something more ape-like with a mushroom cloud-shaped head, and it's kind of weird looking. Might brace yourself for this.
That just kind of looks like the head of the baby from Eraserhead.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
I mean,
At this
the
point,
baby from
I'm not-
Eraserhead is like a bird thing.
Yeah, at this point, I'm convinced you don't actually remember Razorhead.
Blocked it out from your memory.
Really?
Because you keep saying this looks like the baby from Razorhead, and it's things that don't look like the baby from Razorhead.
Okay, maybe original Godzilla head concept, the snout is shorter, but it maybe I am crazy.
You can kind of see the bulbous head in some of the original concept designs. That, as we know, that kind of went away.
Yeah.
So yeah, because Godzilla's was in 1954, King Kong was in the 1930s, and there are actually a few instances of King Kong in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
though not exactly right. Let's see. So this is the yes, this is it. So there are some lost bits from Japan's history due to World War II. We bombed them, firebombed them. A lot of this stuff is lost. This is a parody of King Kong done as like a stage show. It's like a comedy bit
Mm-hmm.
where it's like basically the plot of this is that some guy dresses as King Kong after seeing the movie and like stomps around on buildings for promotional videos or promotional for like a store or something, or basically trying to make money. And there's a part, and it leads to the guy in the gorilla suit running out in the streets, freaking everybody out, and the fire department chasing him around, thinking he's an escaped ape or something. So this is an instance of King Kong in Japan. The other one is this one, the King Kong that appeared in Edo, which depicts this. This is more about like this man has like this ape creature at his disposal, and despite what you see here in the top left, he's not never actually that big. But again, this is also lost media due to the war.
Aw.
Like it says here, 16 years before Godzilla came out. The other thing that inspired Godzilla was this other American movie, The Beast from 2000 Fathoms. I've actually seen this. It's basically there's this giant undersea lizard that comes to the surface. It's prehistoric, and when they shoot at it, its blood releases like prehistoric super toxic bacteria, blah blah. So they can't just shoot it; they have to burn it. So they kill this thing by luring it into a wooden roller coaster and lighting it on fire.
Huh.
This is also stated to be one of the basis for the original Godzilla.
Just like all my first dates.
If you go to a roller coaster and get lit on fire, how are you still alive?
Who's that one chick from Game of Thrones? The lady who had dragons.
Daenerys.
Yeah, I'm like Daenerys. I'm fireproof.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the dragons?
I'm waking up.
It was also in the original concept for Godzilla. They also had these white eyes that they're not entirely in the movie, but they're not something that are carried over to most of the Showa series. There are occasions where they'll bring this in. And I think that covers everything I wanted to cover beforehand. So we can get into the plot. As we stated, it starts with that ship bursting. The ship bursts into flames because there's this big flash that everybody on sees. They phone in an SOS. The ship goes down. They send another ship after it to investigate, called the Bingo Maru. That ship also goes down, and the survivors of the Bingo Maru wash up on a local island.
Hmm.
The people on the local island have a legend of this thing, Gojira, that they apparently used to sacrifice people to, that became considerably more angry due to nuclear testing. And basically, while they're there, there's a hurricane that Godzilla comes in through and smashes a building that has one of the islanders' brother on it. They're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because the Islander flees, but his brother and his brother's wife stay inside.
yeah, I believe that was it. And the day after, they send in all the proper helicopters and stuff to investigate more, and they find these giant footprints with apparently a
Trilobite.
like a mint condition trilobite in it. though. It was funny seeing that because they've got all the Geiger counters in this giant footprint talking about how radioactive it is, but they got a bunch of people in the print not wearing protective gear. But what the hell do they know back then?
Yeah, that was a little like everybody stay back. This place is highly radioactive, but you're kind of just standing in it.
I mean, we have literal stories of during like the build up to like the nuclear and even like the Manhattan Project and even afterwards. Scientists not understanding just how deadly radiation can be, and then playing like pranks on each other by like, oh, we have this thing in the lab that the doors won't open if you give off like a feedback, so it's not taking off samples out of the lab. So they'd slip a little bit of like plutonium into their food, and so then it would go off, and they couldn't leave for like a couple days. Uh,
What?
That's how Watchmen happens.
yeah.
Oh, tee here's a little silly little prank for you guys. I closed the demon core. Hee hee.
I mean, I've seen footage of where they'd like have soldiers walking, set off a nuke, and have the soldiers duck and cover, and you can like see the film warping from the radiation.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, duck and cover never worked.
Well, we okay.
So,
Obviously, duck and cover would not have worked, but we didn't get a chance to see if duck and cover actually worked. You know what I mean?
so after they're for some reason there's a lot of pictures missing here. They don't have the pictures of the footprints with the tail drag marks going from the beach back into the ocean from after the typhoon. Later, while they're investigating the wreckage, Godzilla peeks his head over the hill here.
Hi guys.
I believe it was originally intended to have him with like a cow hanging out of his mouth, but that would have like raised questions about the scale of this. I don't think a cow would be very substantial
Yeah.
for a creature this size.
What about 2 cows?
Basically, they take the information of Godzilla back to the mainland, and they're basically debating about whether to talk about it or not to reveal the information. Basically, the politicians say, "Oh, if we release this information, it would cause a panic. We got to keep it a secret." And then all of the citizens are like, "No, fuck that. People need to be prepared for this." And then it goes to the papers. There's a part where Godzilla like peeks his head out around pleasure cruise and freaks everybody out. And so they set up a basically a big high voltage electrical grid around the coast to try and keep Godzilla out.
Well, their plan is to kill him with it.
But yeah. And like he goes into the electrical grid and it clearly hurts him, but that's when he starts using his atomic breath when he's sufficiently injured and threatened, so he melts the grid, he melts the tanks, and
he's like, okay, now I'm pissed.
He fucks up everything in his path. There's like footage of him grabbing and throwing bridges, fighting trains. There's one scene where there's basically a mother and child basically waiting for death, saying they're going to be with the father soon.
Oh yeah, that was really fucked up.
Yeah, he's collapsing buildings on people, melting tanks.
He had a train in his mouth at one point.
There's something I noticed with this. There's a part where Godzilla here, he bites the radio tower because this is where a bunch of camera people and photographers were, because he was attracted by the light, and he like bites the tower, and you don't really see Godzilla just reach out and bite things very often. And I thought that was interesting having watched this movie now. There's a plot in the movie where basically one of the salvage operators that had gone to investigate the wrecked ships his sister is going to marry this one scientist,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Serizawa, who is researching oxygen, and he's researching oxygen, and as he was researching this, he basically came across this means of liquefying. God damn it! Come on, move. This means of liquefying oxygen in a way that basically dissolves everything in the water and asphyxiates it. This is Dr. Serizawa. Who? What? Who is that? You still hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah, what's up?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still
Okay.
hear you.
I don't know. Discord disconnected.
Huh. That was weird.
Basically, there's this the oxygen destroyer technology as a metaphor for nuclear technology. Basically, this scientist accidentally discovered this destructive force, and he doesn't want to reveal it to the public because then everybody's going to know about it and they're going to use it as a horrible weapon. He wants to keep this technology to himself until he can find a way to use it in a beneficial manner. I believe there's also another professor in the movie who's...
Well, there's the paleontologist.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of the professor who's paleontologist. Here's the list. That's the main character. That's that's... There we go. This guy who basically wants to study Godzilla and is saddened by the idea that all they want to do is kill it, but that's, of course, before Godzilla goes on a rampage and leaves a sea of fire across Japan.
I did think it was neat that, as not to interject too much, but Godzilla does do some damage on the island, but he doesn't start doing full-scale intentional destruction, it seems, until they electrocute him.
Yeah. Like, he didn't start using his full potential until they really hurt him.
Yeah. Like, he saw the people on the
So
island,
the
didn't shoot
electrical...
them with fire.
Let's see. The electrical grid thing didn't work. He caused a sea of flame across Japan, and the two main characters basically have to convince Dr. Serizawa to use the oxygen destroyer for the benefit of mankind here. And at first he's very hesitant to use it, because like the moment he learns that somebody that the woman told anybody about his research, he immediately tried to go and destroy it, and patched the other guy on the head in a scuffle until they all calmed down. And what convinces him that he should use this is basically they're broadcasting prayers on the radio and TV. Is like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna destroy all my research first, so that only I have the information.
Yeah.
And it is believed through the power. It is the power of prayer that turned on the TV for them to watch the prayer.
Yeah, I was looking through this wiki before we watched it, just so I'd have some more information going in. They pointed out how there is a part where the TV turns on after all three are talking and they're trying to convince Dr. Serizawa to use his weapon. The TV sort of turns itself on.
Yeah.
Like, this is the 1950s. It's not like they had a remote or anything.
Or counterpoint, Godzilla turned the TV on because he wanted to die.
We'll say, having watched this, there's not a lot of the Godzilla as a tragic figure quite yet, as some of the movies will get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically after they convince Dr. Serizawa to use the oxygen destroyer, they track Godzilla to where he's resting under sea. Dr. Serizawa goes down with one of the main characters, turns the oxygen destroyer on, sends the other guy up, and then cuts his own oxygen line so that all the information of the oxygen destroyer will die with him.
Yep.
And the professor from the movie says that basically, so long as we continue fucking around with nuclear weapons, another Godzilla may appear, because this movie shows like Godzilla, after being in the area of the oxygen destroyer, he like makes an effort to get to the surface, but he's basically being dissolved and asphyxiated. So he sinks to the bottom of the ocean, dissolves into a skeleton, and then dissolves completely. And that is how the movie ends. It's basically this cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Which,
And
considering we see this Godzilla die, and then more Godzillas show up in future. Oops.
it's all Godzillas. Oh yes. Okay, so I understand the asphyxiation part of the oxygen destroying device, but like, what causes them to melt down into bones? I don't like.
It dissolves. It basically dissolves everything in the water. It dissolves all the organic flesh stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Which you would also.
And then there's the American version.
Yeah.
Because Steg kept making jokes about the American version. So for when this was released in America, I don't know if they did dubbed movies back then, because what they did when they brought this to America is they had all the Japanese stuff, but then they inserted scenes with American actor Raymond Burr and some American speaking or some English speaking Japanese Americans, and like there's an oldies station my mom's been watching a lot, so I've been seeing a lot of Raymond Burr because he played what's this Blair character called? Let's see. Perry Mason, that was it. Because he was a very famous actor at the time, so there was a reason why they put him in specifically. But there is a funny bit that mom told me about. My mom told me about Perry Mason, the show. There's an episode where George Takei shows up. So it's Perry Mason and George Takei talking to each other, and Perry Mason makes a joke about Godzilla. Is like, oh, we probably met during Godzilla. So Perry Mason, Raymond Burr was in the original Godzilla. The second movie, Godzilla Raids Again, was dubbed in English as Gigantes the Fire Monster or whatever, where they basically tried to remove all references to Godzilla and make it a standalone thing, despite Godzilla being there. But the Japanese main character was dubbed by George Takei.
What the fuck?
That was funny. There's also this colorized version, fan called fan. This is the fan name of Godzilla, where it was colored using strips of gel placed over the film. That just makes it look like Jello vomit.
I mean, Jello vomit's my favorite kind of Jello.
As I was watching this movie, knowing how the suit acting kind of worked in this movie, I was keeping an eye out for. I believe there were like 3 props used for Godzilla in this movie. That you can kind of tell the difference between 2 of the 3. Like when Godzilla comes up over the hill, and when there's a lot of Godzilla shots from the chest up, this is a puppet. Like, you can kind of tell when they're using it because of how the mouth moves and how the hands are always up because they can't really move that much. And then from the waist, when there are a lot of shots from the waist down, there's basically a rig where it's basically like the wrong trousers. There's basically just a man in the bottom half of a suit for when they're shooting Godzilla from the waist down. I thought this goddamn wiki would have more production images. Maybe I should just use the Fanon wiki. Oh wait, maybe I should check. Okay, guess not.
Did y'all? Wait, Beth is still looking around at the page. Did y'all know that there is a Godzilla analog horror series where apparently
Oh, fucking course. Yeah.
I think it's called like Man in the Suit or something.
The man in the suit, where they basically deep fried some Godzilla images to make it look spooky, and he was mutating and biting people and turning them into the monsters.
And then also he has atomic breath for some reason because why the fuck not?
What was I gonna say? Yeah, well, I will say the roar in this movie was particularly interesting, and its effect was pretty scary at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
They
bass
stayed.
guitar that they did a
It was
glove soaked in
it was
lacquer.
it was an They took the E string off a bassinet or something, and ran a pine tar covered glove over it, and then like pitched and messed with the sound. I think they added some animal bits in there because I was reading through this and how they were experimenting with animal sounds for it, but nothing quite sounded right. And they've been using that roar a lot more in the modern movies to represent, oh, it's the old Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used it in Shin to good effect, but then they also used it in Godzilla -1. I don't
Yeah.
remember if they used it in like Godzilla Singular Point or not, but like it's gotten a little to the point where it's like, hey, you could do something new if you wanted to. It was good the first couple of times.
Yeah, you can have them sound like a goose honking or something.
Shut up.
What?
Uh,
What?
there, there is also a bit where the Godzilla skeleton, when Godzilla dissolves, it's shown basically dissolving into a skeleton, and then before fully dissolving, which for some reason isn't fucking on here. That's spoilers here. For some reason, there's no gallery page up here. Yeah, but the scene where it dissolves into a skeleton is later retconned from one of the movies from the Millennium era, where instead of dissolving into a skeleton and then the skeleton also dissolves, it just dissolves into a skeleton, and then they have the bones.
What do they do? Do they make a soup with the bones?
Soup that kills you, yeah.
Okay, look. Raise your hand
Yeah.
if you would not drink bone broth that was made out of Godzilla bones.
I don't want it because
I'm raising my hand.
it'd be insanely radioactive.
Radioactive.
You guys are
Probably also curse you with soul. Kill a soul. Yeah, but this continued. This movie continued into the whole Showa era, going up into the 70s, where it goes into Godzilla Raids again, which, as I stated before, was tried to be dubbed into Gigantes the Fire Monster, and that movie also introduced Anguirus and had the first monster fight. The other thing is, this first movie is canon to the 1980s, the first in the Heisei Godzilla movies, even though I don't think it was the Heisei period yet, but it was Return of Godzilla, which was released in America as Godzilla 1984. They also put Raymond Burr in, but we'll be covering that next time.
Raymond Burr. The next Godzilla movie is just gonna be Raymond Burr walking around, just giant.
Raymond Burr returns. Also, the funny thing about this is Raymond Burr's character in the of that movie was called. His name was Steve Martin. No relation.
In this episode of Perry Mason defends Godzilla. Wait, so are you telling me that
Yeah, I didn't do any of that shit.
you're telling me that the whole country of Japan wants to sue this lizard. This lizard destroyed homes, Perry. I don't know what Perry Mason's about, by the way.
A lawyer.
Oh, so I was kind of right. Okay.
Yeah, Steve Martin. His name is Steve Martin for some reason. No relation.
Your Honor, this is
I guess it would have been before the more popular Steve Martin.
It's like, Your Honor, this is a different Godzilla. The first Godzilla was killed by the oxygen destroyer. This is a completely different guy.
Yeah.
How would I know this is Perry Mason? I was there as not Perry Mason.
I was there as Perry Mason. You know, actually, the funny thing, this Godzilla Raids Again was also, this movie is in black and white. Godzilla Raids Again was in black and white. And this one ends with the main character basically leading Godzilla into an Arctic canyon and then shooting the canyon to encase Godzilla in ice. Godzilla didn't get used for a long time until King Kong, a King Kong movie like almost 10 years later. And they, can you hear that?
What?
Can you hear that? Okay, I guess you can't hear it. For some reason, this website, like, there's videos all the way at the down at the bottom of the site, and sometimes they autoplay.
That sounds bad. If I ever made a website, I would
weird.
I would destroy the ability to autoplay. I would rip that button off of my website.
I would cut your ears off.
I remember the guy who made pop-up ads has since like apologized profusely for it.
Yeah, so like King Kong has a very intrinsic part in Godzilla's lore, so it's not for no reason that they keep making Godzilla vs. King Kong movies in the modern day.
Yeah. Although I do like how every time that King Kong, they invent some weird power thing that King Kong didn't previously have because they're like, yeah, it's the only way King Kong's going to be able to bridge this gap of power level.
Little, because in King Kong versus Godzilla, you'll note the movie is called King Kong versus Godzilla because it was focusing on King Kong. He had an immunity to electricity, and he could like be struck by electricity and then use that to channel electricity through him. And in some of the other Toho King Kong movies, he has like immunity to these certain radioactive elements.
Yeah.
Fun fact: there is a robot with King Kong.
Why do they always have to fight? Why can't
Mechanicon?
Why can't Godzilla and King Kong make sweet love to each other?
In fact, this robot was made by a character named Doctor Who.
God damn it!
No relation.
God damn it!
Mecha King Kong.
When was this introduced?
No, it's Mechanicon. Let's see. 1967.
1967. I don't know which Doctor was around in 1967. I blame it on Six. Six always does fucked up shit.
There was, I think, the first one.
Oh, I guess it would be the first one.
Yeah, I think it was just maybe the second one, 1960. Yeah, it would have been the second one.
Oh, I'm stupid then.
Math.
Hi, Matt Smith. Hi, Peter Capaldi. Hi, woman. I can't remember your fucking name. I'm sorry.
Woman. Yeah, another interesting thing, another thing to note about this is Godzilla's roar gets recycled for a lot of other monsters.
Yeah.
God damn it, it's playing audio again. Basically, they'll take like clips of Godzilla's roar or like little bits of it and pitch it up or down and use it for other monsters in similar media. Something to note here is the growth of the tokusatsu genre as a result of Godzilla. So the evolution goes: you had King Kong to start with, then you had Godzilla, and then you had a Japanese TV series called Ultra Q.
Mhm.
Ultra Q was a serialized show that is in black and white and later color. That was like the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits, but more like the Outer Limits. I went through and watched this out of curiosity. It's basically a Monster of the Week thing, or like an anomaly of the week thing. And the first monster to appear in Ultra Q was this monster called Gomez, which was made from a repurposed Godzilla suit. Uh, Ultra Q is important because this was proof that they were able to do movie quality tokusatsu action on a weekly show budget. Like, they didn't always have suit acted monsters. Like, sometimes they'd have like the last episode of the show is like the train from another dimension that whisks people away from their horrible lives. But there are a lot of suit acted stuff. One of the monsters one of the monsters of the week was a giant flower.
So unfortunately,
There's
that
like
train
giant
won't be able
snails and stuff.
to appear here because U.S. Rail is destroyed.
I mean, the train flies.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe the train just doesn't like you, Chris.
You say that like your life is any better.
I mean, I'm not implying.
Train from the very dimension.
I wasn't implying that my life is better.
Yeah, but the creation of Ultra Q then led to a spin-off series, which you might know, Ultraman.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that came as a spin-off of Ultra Q. It became immensely popular, which was mostly Ultraman fighting kaiju, and a lot of those kaiju used like Godzilla roars and roars from other Godzilla kaiju, because we know Godzilla. Most of this made by Toho, or at least distributed by it.
Mm-hmm.
The other company that helped work on Godzilla was Subaraya, and Subaraya made Ultraman and Ultra Q, and like back when these two companies are generally on good terms with each other, which is why they can use roars from Godzilla stuff. And then, excuse me. So with the popularity of Ultraman, then came Toei wanting to make their own similar character, trying to kind of bank off the popularity of this, which then came
Kamen
the
Rider.
origin of Kamen Rider, the original Kamen Rider.
Holy shit.
And then with the popularity of Kamen Rider,
Super Sentai.
with the popularity of Kamen Rider and the popularity of home color TVs, came the original Super Sentai Go Ranger.
Wow.
They basically made this multicolored cast of characters to show off to bank on the fact that more people had color TVs. And that's like basically the evolution of all this stuff.
I almost said something fucked up. I almost said maybe nuclear war wasn't that bad if we got all this stuff. But no. Atomic war, the nukes, Hiroshima, it was all bad. We didn't have to do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this.
Banishing you to the shadow realm.
No.
Yeah, so in lieu of doing doing just a generic tier list rank movies thing, I've made this. If any of you've seen the Gundam meme of "Wow, cool robot, no war is bad," I've seen somebody make the Gundam shows on a scale of war is bad to wow, cool robot. Except now I'm doing it for Godzilla.
This is probably
So obviously,
real up
this one
there.
firmly
War is
goes
bad.
into
Yeah,
this one firmly goes into war is bad.
yeah. I think that's a perfect place to put the first movie because uh I mean, if no, they fully talked about like, wow, if we don't stop doing nuclear testing, we're gonna get more Godzillas. Yeah, I'm pretty happy where the first Godzilla movie's going.
Reminds me of Tetsumo Yamaguchi, I believe was his name. The guy who saw both nukes drop.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. Say the name again.
Uh, his name was Tetsumo Yamaguchi.
You might know him better as the Iron Man. I'm kidding. No.
You can just Google guy who saw both nukes.
Guy Williams.
Hey, he survived till like 2010.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, right, I forgot about this. As I was looking over these wikis, something I found was a bit from like a Godzilla book from the 70s, I want to say, giving an idea as to why there's so many Godzillas, and it suggests that Godzilla is just a species, and it has this picture of like the family of Godzillas under the ocean experiencing the nuke.
Oh no.
That would have allegedly killed the rest of Godzilla's family.
Oh no.
No, I don't think that's what happened, but we aren't really given an explanation as to why there are so many Godzillas from time to
I
time.
mean, spoilers, but in the sequel, it's straight up confirmed that yeah, it's their species.
I guess.
Spoilers.
One of the funny things about Gigantes the fire monster, they took all of Godzilla's roars out, replaced them with Anguirus's roars, and tried to say that Godzilla and Anguirus are the same species despite looking nothing alike.
Yeah.
They're saying they're both Anguiruses or Gigantes or whatever. Do any of you all have any final thoughts? Because I think I saw my light flicker.
I mean, like I said, this was my first like old timey like Godzilla movie. I don't know why I've never watched Godzilla before. I just don't feel like it's my bag a whole lot, if that makes sense. But this was fun to watch. Well, I mean, not fun to watch because horrors of nuclear bombs. But like, so this is gonna sound.
Wow. Man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
So this is going to sound really bad. Whenever I saw people online talking about the first Godzilla movie and talking about like how it's an allegory of like nuclear testing, like nuclear bombs and testing and stuff, and the ravages that they have on nature and yada and all that stuff, I was thinking maybe they're like overselling it a little bit. But now watching the actual movie, holy fuck, no, this is definitely a good allegory for the atomic bomb and what it did to Japan.
Yeah, I believe the idea was depicting a nuclear explosion in slow motion.
Jesus, that's fucked up. Chris, any final thoughts?
Stick, say something.
Something.
What did you think of the movie?
I think it's a classic for a reason. There's a reason. It became
no
a massive franchise. Even though the first one is totally different from anything else, pretty much. But yeah, it's a very profound it's very interesting from the cultural perspective of this is a culture retelling and recontextualizing something
cultural
as
trauma.
horrifying as the atomic bombs. But there's also quite a bit of, if you look at like the legacy, like destruction leaves on Tokyo, the Tokyo fire bombings as well.
I will say, if we ever do go back and watch the rest of the Showa movies, we're not. I don't want to watch the Showa Gamera movies. The Showa Gamera movies are like the tier below the bottom of Wow Cool Monster.
Like ew,
Yeah.
like
Like
ew.
even the first one or two movies. Like the first movie is like, well, a nuclear accident happened and woke this turtle up.
Pardon me.
You don't know what Gamera is?
I know. Don't worry about it.
I was as I was watching this, I was looking at the puppet prop they used for the upper body shots and how they did the uh, radioactive breath is just like probably a stream of mist or something that shot out of the puppet prop. I was sort of getting my wires crossed between this and the original Gamera movie because in the original Gamera they had a Gamera prop with an actual thing that shot actual fire.
Huh.
And then sometimes they'd show Gamera eating fire, quote unquote, by like showing that footage in reverse.
Yeah.
Like
Sorry.
the original Gamera movies devolve into goofy. They devolve into the goofier shit way faster than the Godzilla movies did.
But unlike
But Godzilla could have devolved even faster. Bride of Godzilla had been greenlit.
question, what if I like goofy
so we're going to
shit?
be going into the We're going to be going into the Heisei movies after this, and then the Heisei Gamera movies, and then some other things from the Heisei era.
Hey.
Alright. Tune in next time.
Yeah.
Later.
Have a good.
You joke about that. You joke about that. There's a Kamen Rider sword that's the Hey Saber. Goes, hey!
I fucking hate
Kamen
it.
Rider ZO.
I fucking hate it here. Good night, everybody.